Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. See my voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune in to the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope that you're all doing well. I hope you've had a positive week so far. Looking forward to getting to this one. You can see I've got the lovely Natalie with me. Nat, thank you so much for joining us again. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Soph. I'm doing good.
Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. And obviously we've got a lot to talk about since our show last week as well. Before that game in Europa League, Ronaldo finally getting his goal after that one is a bit of a mad one. It just seems to be peppering them, and that clinicalness in front of goal is something that we spoke about, obviously. But we got the goals in the end. Tomorrow is a different story. If we have to be honest and say, Sociedad are not going to be pushovers. It's going to be a tough game for us tomorrow. It's a must-win game. So, yeah, we're going to get into it and obviously give our predictions, our team predictions, our score predictions and whatnot as well. But before we get on to tomorrow, firstly, the West Ham game at the weekend. We got over the line. A win's a win at the end of the day. It wasn't the prettiest of wins. We didn't play well, but we got the 3 points, which obviously is the most important thing. I mean, what was your thoughts on the performance at the weekend?
To be honest, I think Thursday, Sunday, it is, West Ham aren't an easy team. They made it difficult. They have chances in. David De Gea, I mean, wow, that was prime going back to when we were in the league, kind of, top class saves. And it's good to see, though. It's good to see at the end the way they were celebrating. That's how much it means. Holding on, big tackles, Maguire at the end, it's just, obviously, yeah, you would like to have won by more, like to have, not have to bring it down to the last minute and all these kind of saves. But times you have to do that, and we did it and we held out, and it's a big 3 points, and I think it's just keep going, and it'll add that confidence into people, confidence into Maguire, obviously, and I just think it's giving us this feeling that we can do it, no matter what. And like I say, people are throwing back the years, so why not? Why can't we do it? It's good to see.
It's an interesting one with Gea as well, because obviously, Oliver Villa said it there. Hello to Oliver Villa. Haven't spoken to you for a while. I hope you're doing well. He said, and people wanted Henderson to replace De Gea. I'm not slating Henderson, of course, but it's true. Before we started the season, obviously, when we knew Ten Hag was coming in, a lot of people were like, "Oh, De Gea's done with. He's not good enough for the ball at his feet." Obviously, he's had a few drops in form and stuff, and people were thinking it was the end of De Gea when Ten Hag come in. But actually, I've been impressed with what De Gea has done. Defensively, I think we've looked obviously quality, but De Gea as well, I think he deserves a lot of plaudits because he had a lot of criticism, especially towards the end of last season and whatnot. And like I say, a lot of people were writing him off before the season started. Obviously, he's not in the Spain squad and stuff as well. But I think he deserves a lot of credit, doesn't he? Because as you say, that was prime De Gea at the weekend. And I also think with the ball at his feet, he's getting better as well.
And I feel like that's what it is. I feel like people just think, at a certain age, you can't still improve, you can't get better, you can't develop. I think it's just showing that with good quality, management, confidence into the players, they can improve. They are good players. I mean, they've always been good players. Even sort of like Rashford, people writing him off, people writing different players off, and they're all coming in and showing that they can do it. And I feel like when you have that competition, and I know about Henderson and that, and I would have liked to have seen Henderson stay, because I do think he's a good number 2. I don't think he's sort of, I get people are laughing at him. I don't think he's as bad as everyone is making out as well. And I feel like he would have thrived. Yeah. So I just think, that, David, he knew that if he doesn't perform, that potentially, it is his last season. He knows that he's playing for, and that's what I like, because I think when people say, "Oh, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that?" Players need to play to earn a contract, not just because we're worried about this and that. No, this is Man United. You play for the badge, you pay for the team, and I just feel that's what we're seeing more of, and that's why we're seeing the good performances from, like you say, form. People say form's temporary, so it's that's what we're seeing now, because he's always been a class player. It's just that, last few years maybe haven't been good enough, and that's the same with a lot of players. And now I just feel like we're seeing his form come back to the level that we know, you know, his classes basically.
And I think with De Gea as well, obviously you mentioned Henderson. I think a lot of the criticism comes from what he said, what he's done with his mouth more so than what he's done on the pitch, because obviously he's got a bit of a loud mouth and he's said some stuff that fans don't agree with. But with De Gea, you have to say his attitude has always been spot on. A lot of people were criticising Maguire for not coming out and talking after games when it's been an embarrassing performance last season. And 9 times out of 10, it was De Gea who actually fronted the camera and came out and spoke. So I think he shows that he does care for the club. He does genuinely does love being at United, and I agree with you. I think obviously his form has been very up and down, as has most of the squad. But when it's a goalkeeper, it's always a lot more noticeable, isn't it? But I thought we'd definitely mention him because he's made big improvements under Ten Hag, and not a lot of people expect him to do that. Alex, I didn't say we played badly. I just don't think it was the prettiest of game. I thought we kind of ground out the result. I thought like West Ham. I was on a West Ham channel just before it, and I said I felt it was going to be a tight game. I didn't anticipate that. But I wouldn't say we played badly. I just think it wasn't the prettiest game to watch. But we defended, we dug deep, which is what you want to see, especially when you're not firing all cylinders going forward. And that's what I mean. It's a really important 3 points for us that game. Hello to Curlers. Says, evening, folks. United make a big statement if we get 3 points against Villa. Team fought for the win against West Ham, but poor second half from Casemiro that let the team play as they did. Let's see what other people are saying in the chat. I'm going to try and get through as many people as possible. Hello, ladies. Tomorrow's game is going to be tough, but I'm confident we can get the win. And Dalot is the most improved player for us this season. Dalot, and someone else has just mentioned Dalot. I saw it somewhere if I can find it. There you go, Jane. Dalot, what is he having for breakfast? Because I want some of it, because he has been, he's unrecognisable from what we have seen from Dalot in the past. Some of those headers at the back post, he's just solid. And going forwards as well, I feel like he's improving. I feel like that's still his weak point at the moment, that final ball, but he's improving, and he's just become an absolute machine. He's becoming the player that Mourinho felt he was signing, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I feel like that's another one. I know, like, he is still, I don't want to start, because people start getting upset when you say young player, but he is still young, you know what I mean? He is still a young player, and like I said, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still always improve, you can always develop, you can always learn, and I just feel like that's what we're seeing from a lot of they're learning to play Ten Hag style. They're developing in their games, so they're improving as they're playing, as they're learning, and then the confidence that he's putting in. And I feel like players like Martinez is just like seeing him, and then that's just giving the energy to the whole back line, that passion, and the way he celebrates, the way all three of them, Martinez, Dalot, and De Gea, were all celebrating at the end. That is what it means. That is the energy, and I feel like everyone's happy, everyone's buzzing, seeing that they're buzzing, that fan. It's just all together, and it's all spiraling. And I just feel like, like you say, you're always learning, and I feel like last season, even when he did come in, and people were like, "Oh, this and that," I still saw a little bit of a player, and he did when Valve came in, he did sort of look all right, and we thought, he's going to improve, he's going to get a new foot, and I think he said, isn't he, Ten Hag, that he wants to get a new fullback, but not because he's saying Dalot's bad, but it's like that extra challenge, that extra step that you have to then rise, and I just feel like that's what it's always going to be. And in a way, it's like United is sort of, the way that Ten Hag has just changed us, and like I say, the development, players are learning, players want to learn now. When we had new managers, didn't want to learn their style. They thought they knew best, whereas Ten Hag has just changed all that, and it's sort of made it like, come, learn, be better, and that's what's happening. Buying into it, and they're better.
He's got so much better, levels and levels above. Hello to Lewis. Hope you're doing good, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Important to win the group, the last 16, and an easier draw. It is important, and obviously by 2 goals as well. So we mentioned that clinicalness in front of goal, but we have to be clinical tomorrow. And I'll see obviously what your choices are in terms of team prediction with that in mind, because we need goals. So we've got to be careful. Obviously, we've got to be switched on at the back, because like I say, Sociedad are a different test from what we had last week in Europa League. But we also have to be wary that we need to score goals. So it's going to be a really interesting game. I'm hoping that we're entertaining to watch tomorrow, and I'm hoping that we do obviously top the group as well. I've been impressed. I've been that impressed that he's had consistent performances week in, week out. Yeah, he's been consistently top notch, hasn't he? He's been outstanding, Dalot. Alex said he's been eating Red Bull on Weetabix. I don't know what he's been doing. Actually, I replied to a tweet from Carefree Jam earlier on Twitter. He's saying, I forgot what the words were, but basically it was like controversial food choices, and his was, steak has to be well done. What's yours? And I know somebody.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
I know somebody who puts orange juice on their cereal, and like every time she tells me this, I'm just like, no, it makes me feel funny even talking about it. I'm like, what? Basically, she doesn't like milk. So I'm like, orange juice? Like, it's got such like a unique taste on top of it. I can't even imagine it. But yeah, that's controversial in my opinion. So I'm just throwing that in there. It's nothing to do with United, but to do with that comment about the Weetabix. But yeah, obviously we mentioned Dalot. Another player who I think is starting to shine under Ten Hag, and you can see the improvements in his game is Marcus Rashford. Obviously last season, and before that, to be fair, had a proper lull, didn't he? I know he openly said he hasn't been right in his head, and I remember us saying on here we didn't want to get on his back because we could see there was something not right with him. He just didn't seem like the same guy. There was obviously something going on. It seemed like the world was on his shoulders. I'm so happy now that it seems to be turning the corner. And heading, by the way, he's added that into his game, and he looks a machine. Like, Rashford and headers just doesn't seem to go in the same sentence for me. And the fact that he's added that to his game, I think that could really transform him and take him on to another level, because that's what he was always lacking. He was never that guy to attack the ball at the back post like he has been doing, like he did against West Ham. I mean, I'm loving the Rashford that we're seeing this season. It's like a new development on him, isn't it? And again, seeing him smiling, like, I know it's cliche to say it, but a happy footballer is always going to be a better footballer, and he's seeming like he's enjoying his football again, which is great for us to see, and great for England, obviously, with the World Cup coming up now.
Yeah. I hope they select him, bloody hell, yeah. So I think
Surely.
Yeah. With Rashford, I think he's always been class. He just had that, like you said, he was in his own head. Something, I don't know, like, I'm not going to sit in and say this is what happened or that has happened. He's come out and said it himself, I wasn't mentally there. And I just think, I didn't even catch that, something I introduced somewhere. But anyway.
Yeah, there you go. So he must be a common thing then, or unless it's the same person.
You probably know the same person there. And I would say steak shouldn't be well done also. So that, yeah.
How do you have your steak?
Steak is rare. Steak is rare.
You're rare. You're rare, yeah. See,
rare or medium rare, yeah.
I'll be honest, I always was well done, but now I'm a medium. Like growing up, I was a bit weird with like, yeah, but now I'm a medium. So I've got braver, but I'm not quite that brave now.
But no, what was I saying? Rashford, I just think that he was great even in the early years. He was always banging in the goals. And then I feel like, I think he was hard done by some fans, he's finished this and that. I'm thinking, he's banging 20, 40 plus goals and assists.
We've got short memories.
Then one season, he just didn't do that. And then suddenly it was, he's finished and we should sell him. And I'm not saying that everyone was saying that, but it was very highly country, he had a bad game, he's done. And I just think it's one season, and I think that's what we've seen now. It is one season. I feel like still he has a lot to grow, and like you say, adding headers, doing this. I think he needs to be more clinical. I think like just ice in your veins kind of finishing. I think I would have liked to have seen him score some of them goals versus Chelsea. But getting better, improving, like you say, he's added that big header at the back post. What a ball though as well. Just want to say, by Eriksen, just on a plate to just bang it in. So I do think he's doing well, but I just I think every players that we talked about, De Gea, Dalot, Rashford, they can all be better. Luke Shaw, and I feel like the better players we get and put competition, it's all that, those kind of things. You need to keep adding, keep improving, growing the squad, getting better. But I know we always say it, but it actually does feel like this time in the future is brighter than possibly we've ever seen it, because we're actually doing well.
Yeah,
and
we can't be complacent and be like, we're there and there, we're going to win the league, we're going to win the Europa League. Like, we're not there yet. Like, I think we still, like I've already mentioned, being clinical in front of goal, we still show signs of that frailty, but we're definitely on the right path. Do you know what I mean? It feels like we've turned a corner with Ten Hag, and I'm sure we'll still have our lulls and whatnot. Like, we've still got players, obviously, that we'll want to sign to strengthen even further. But every signing that we have had from Ten Hag has been a hit, no doubt about it. And if we continue in that vein, like, it is exciting to see where we can go under him. But like I say, it's going to take time. We always knew it wasn't going to be a quick fix, but it's nice to actually look forward to watching us play football again. We're entertaining to watch. We're pinging the ball around. We've got Antony doing little spins on the wing for no reason, but I don't care. I want to see that. I want to be entertained as a fan at the end of the day. And I had to bring that up because obviously we previewed that game last week and we spoke about Antony. I remember clearly saying he does a little flick and whatnot, but he very rarely loses the ball. He did a little spin, gives the ball away, and I'm like, Greg, I've jinxed him there. But in terms of that, Nat, obviously, because it was all over Twitter, it was over everywhere. There's a massive talking point. Nobody's talking about the fact we won the game. Everybody's talking about this Antony spin, and obviously he came off not long after it as well. For me, like, he's Brazilian. We want players like that. We want players who are going to showcase what they can do. Obviously, we don't want him to give the ball away. Of course, he doesn't want to give the ball away, but it happens, doesn't it? But for me, it was just taken completely. Like, there's no need for people to go in on the way they did on Antony. Like, people saying it was ridiculous. Even like pundits, ex-players. Like, I didn't get it. I don't know why there was so much focus on that skill. And I wanted to ask your opinion on the outrage that came after it, to be honest with you, and obviously what he did as well.
You know, it was 0-0 at the time when he did it, but
yeah,
he did give the ball away after, but it wasn't, you know, oh my God, I'm gonna hate football. This is the end of, you know. But we all know when it's Man United, everyone boots. I mean, when Richarlison did it, I mean, people were a bit like outraged, but it wasn't like the level like I think I saw.
Hiccups, didn't he?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And I just think, like you say, Brazilian, they're always going to do it. It is what it is. I mean, Richarlison got done because he did it when they were winning and, you know, winning by a lot. Oh, he's taking the piss. And then when Antony does it at 0-0, oh, he's still taking the piss. So when the hell can you do it? I think people just need to let go, have a good time, go outside.
Did these people not watch JJ Okocha or like Ronaldinho?
Yeah.
Did people not watch these players? Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
Cristiano back in the day used to do it. Nani doing, and remember all the I don't even know, scorpion kick, you know, kick ups and all that. It's just football, and I just think it's just people just trying to find something to be offended about. Because Man United won, basically. It's just an extra thing.
Did you hear the crowd when he did it though? The crowd was like, way! Like, the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's disappointing when he gives the ball away afterwards. And like I say, even he would be disappointed in that. Of course he would. But for me, like, I don't get too rattled by stuff like that. Like I say, one of my favourite players ever is Ronaldinho. And when he passed the ball with his back and stuff like that. Can you imagine if Antony tried to do that nowadays? Like, they'd be uproar, and I don't get it. Like, you want players to express themselves, and I do agree. He did put it perfectly when obviously he put that Instagram post that he said, "Why would he stop doing what made him get to where he is now?" Like, and I totally agree with that attitude. I think it's spot on, and I like that. But yeah, I thought the outrage afterwards was just too much. I don't think they needed that. Hello to Aikman. He said we've got to be extra clinical if we want to win by more than one goal away to them. We've got to be very clinical. We've got to try and control that game. Like I say, Sociedad are going to be a completely different test of what we had. But also, I think, against other than City, obviously, but against better teams, we seem to perform better. I don't know if you agree with that, Nat, but it seems to bring out the best in us, and I'm hoping that this test tomorrow does bring out the best in us, because I think if we do turn up, then we can make a statement. No doubt about it. We've got the ability to do so, and I feel like we can. But it's about us obviously turning up, and you've already mentioned it there with the 2 games a week kind of thing on a Thursday and a Sunday. The fatigue element does come into it as well. But we've got to have a strong team. We've got to go into it with the mentality that we can do it, and I'm sure we can do it. But yeah, I mean, Casemiro is obviously on the title of the video because I feel like he has been phenomenal for his last few games. I really do. Someone mentioned earlier, didn't think he played that well. And there are times probably where he still gives it away a little bit because he's trying to move the ball from defence to attack a bit too quickly or whatnot. But in general, in my opinion, him and Martinez have transformed this team. The mentality that they have, they'll run through walls, and that's what we want for our players, isn't it? You mentioned the celebrations after, obviously, the game at the weekend. I did a tweet about it, the clip of De Gea with he's just holding Martinez on his back, and he just looks like a backpack or like a rucksack on his back because he's just tiny, and it cracked me up because. But that's what you want. You want your team to be celebrating clean sheets. Like, you want to be doing that because it's a big achievement, especially after we've defended in past seasons. Again, it's progress. But Casemiro, I mean, how good do you think he's been for us, and how good do you think he will be for us in seasons to come? That.
Yeah, I think he's a key player. I think when we signed him, we were buzzing. I think, I feel like a lot of people were upset that he didn't come in and start straight away. But even Ten Hag says he has to get used to this league. He's a class player, But I think everyone still needs time to adapt. He didn't have a pre-season with us. He had to get used to the way we play. The way Ten Hag wants to play is different from the way potentially he's played before. And it's like what I was saying, developing. I feel like he's still going to learn. Class player, but I feel like everyone in this team can learn and will grow and will develop because even if it's not learning something, it's like learning a new style of play, because it's different from what they've previously played. So, I just think, like you say, he's adding it now. We're seeing it, run through walls, do everything. The way he even celebrated his goal versus Chelsea, it's that passion, it's that love. It's, it's what you want to see. It's doing everything to win and winning mentality, and it's great to see, and I want to see more of it. Whether he'll play, I don't know. Whether he'll rest him and play him, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see the lineup that they do go with.
He has to play for me because this is such an important game. But I would have personally rested him for a few of the earlier games in the group. Do you know what I mean? Like that isn't worrying him playing so much, but I do think he is a beast in that midfield. I think his quality. He's also shown what he can bring going forwards as well. Some of his passes between the lines. There was one diagonal that he played against West Ham and it was superb. It was like a driven diagonal. And he showed he could do that as well. Because obviously a lot of talk Casemiro is about what he can do when he's breaking up the play. When he's breaking up the play, he's superb. But when he's spraying the ball as well, he's shown that he's got that side to his game. And obviously the header for the Chelsea goal as well is absolute quality. But for me, he's a player that you can see that mentality shines through. Like you can just see he's a leader, he's a winner, and I have no doubt that he's very much well liked in the dressing room as well. Especially when he can learn to speak English a lot better. I feel like he's going to be a really crucial player for us in terms of our squad, and Martinez, as I've already mentioned as well. But going into this one, that like realistically, I mean, someone said it earlier. This kind of points to, it's Curtis said there. The problem with tomorrow night is obviously we need to score goals, and it does kind of pose the question: are we going to throw bodies forward and then leave ourselves vulnerable for that counter attack? And for that reason alone, that's why I would play Casemiro, because he tends to sweep up his position in his quality to try and stop or even delay that counter. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I think Casemiro has to start this game. But there is obviously the worry of fatigue. Hopefully we can get our goals and we can take him off and rest him a little bit. That would be nice, but we've got to be realistic. And I do think Casemiro will help to nullify that. But does that concern you? Because we know that they've got players like David Silva and whatnot who can hurt us. Like with Sociedad, like, does it concern you the fact that it's probably a case we're going to have a lot of the ball and they're going to try and pounce on us?
Yeah, but it's like what you said. I think we raise our game when we play against good teams. It depends, I suppose, how they come out. Are they going to just come and sit back and then sort of, like you say, counter us? Because they know that we have to score. We have to win, like you say, 2 goals. So I feel like that we can come and we should, how can you say, assert ourselves onto the game, play our game. We know what we can do. We know we can beat them. I feel like we are a different team from when we first played them to now. A lot more togetherness, not going into it on a winning run. This kind of thing is going to be benefit. Not win, unbeaten run. It's going to be beneficial for us. The confidence in the team is a lot higher than what it was when we did play into them. But then, like you say, I think there's those still little weaknesses they could get us on. Like you say, if we're not clinical, if we don't go there and, potentially like that Chelsea game, we don't go there and, if we've got loads of chances in the first half, we need to be burying them, because if we go and, if we don't put them away, then, the same thing will happen. We might be just scrambling, not scrambling, but, scrambling to get the goals in the end, and then that'll play into their hands. So, I feel like if we start it on the front foot and get our goals early, that's what I think we need to get at least a goal early and then push on kind of thing from there.
I agree with you. And GT said Casemiro's been an incredible signing. He has. Curtis said, what are the odds that we finish second and we draw Barcelona for the playoff game? Play against Frenkie de Jong in the Europa League. Yeah, I think there's good chances. I hope he is. I know I hope we finish first. Of course I do. A good evening to Jack. I hope you're doing well. And I lost to Betis at the weekend. I didn't know that, but apparently Sociedad lost to Betis at the weekend. I'm not going to act like an expert on them. I just know from last time we played them and of previous times, like I know they're a decent outlet, and obviously the Liga is a good league and they're not going to be any pushovers, and we have to obviously prepare for that. With the idea of the fact that we've got to score goals, Nat, would you start Ronaldo in this game? Because regardless of what you think about him, we know that he can score goals.
I think he will start, because I think he has started these Europa League games. So I do think he will start that. I feel, I think I want to see Ronaldo and Rashford, to be honest, maybe, and I don't know if he'll do that. I'd like to see that. I think Bruno obviously will start because he's got the yellow card and he can't play versus Villa, so I feel like he'll start. I feel he might even go with quite a similar team to West Ham because start with the strongest team maybe, then bring on the sort of other players. I wouldn't say
West Ham with the Elanga starting. Like I was surprised by that. And no disrespect to Elanga, but it just seemed a bit out of the blue, that one. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it seemed a bit of a random one,
maybe
especially when Garnacho played. Sancho
maybe he wants to sort of play Elanga now and switch. I don't know. Resting people and thinking about
maybe
thinking about this one.
What's your thoughts on Garnacho now? Because obviously he played last week in Europa League, and obviously we don't want to blow him up too much. We know what happens like when you overhype these young players, but he does look special, doesn't he? Like he's definitely got something about him. I like his directness, his little touches that he was doing. Like he was definitely growing in confidence in that game as well. And by the way, Blue, I'm not slating Elanga. I like Elanga. I was just saying it was a bit of a random one because obviously he hadn't really featured for a while, and then all of a sudden he's starting against West Ham. I just did not expect that to happen at all. I'm not berating him at all. I was just saying about the decision. But Garnacho, there's something about him, isn't there? Obviously he's training the likes of Messi and that for Argentina. But yeah, I feel like he's a player that we could definitely be seeing more of in the future, and a player we should be getting a bit excited about. But again, not overhype him too much.
Yeah. I think they're trying to tie him down on a long-term contract, which is obviously what we all want. I think it's what he wants. I think he loves it here. I think, we'll definitely see more of him in maybe FA Cup and things like that. Or, I wonder if he would even maybe be on a bench even for this one. It's one of those I saw before curlers were saying that a lot of players are out. I'm not saying that we should then underestimate Sociedad because of that, but he obviously does have players that he's more likely to play in Europa League. Obviously, it was a totally different team, Sheriff, and this is a much more established team. We've seen them before; they beat us, So I don't think he'll take it lightly. But having him in and around Europa League squads, I do think, why not? Why not do that kind of thing? It'll be interesting. But I feel like again, young player. Give him time. He's got his debut. He played well. It's just about keep building him up, keeping him on the path, keeping him grounded. I feel like what you said. You don't want to. We know what happens when these players and then they believe their own hype and they've never done anything, But I do feel like talent. He has got it all, and he can be whatever he wants to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, and obviously playing along with the likes of Ronaldo is only going to learn things you think and get better and better. Sancho's an interesting one because Sancho has been really disappointed, hasn't he? And he seems to be falling further and further down the pecking order. I don't expect him to start tomorrow, I'll be honest with you, and I don't think he deserves that at the minute. But do you still have faith in Sancho? Do you think this is just a lull, and do you think eventually he will come good? Because obviously we spent a lot of money on him and there's a lot of anticipation when we signed him. Do you think it's just one of them where maybe he's still trying to adjust to Ten Hag's system or whatnot? Because he has been underwhelming, shall we say, so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, he had that little start, didn't he, where we thought, all right, this is going to be Sancho.
Scored a few goals,
scored a few goals, and we thought, yeah. And then, like you say, just it's like something happened, and then he just, it's not like he didn't kick on from that, scoring them goals. He sort of sunk back into himself, and then we've not seen it. So, it could be like a little Rashford situation, when we were saying something happened, he was in his own head, he had a bad season. It could be something like that because, like you say, he did start really well, and it's sort of surprising how he's just sort of when a lot of other people have started well and then we're seeing the best of them, he's sort of started well and then dropped off. So, we don't know what's fully going on. I don't want to fully write him off, but it is going to be that kind of thing.
There's a player in there, no doubt about it. There is a player in there with Sancho. But it's just like unleashing him. It seems a bit like he's holding back. Do you know, he's got the ball and you think just drive around the outside and he cuts back in on time, passes backwards and sideways. I think sometimes he's good enough to beat his man, to go at him, and you just don't see that. And I know he likes the little 1-2s and the link ups and whatnot, but yeah, it just needs to be a bit braver for me. I think that's what it is, and whether that's confidence thing, whether it's struggling to fit in with the system, or whether you like you said, there's other issues. I don't know, but I'm hoping he does kick on because, like you say, he scored a few goals earlier on in the season. And you're thinking, right, this is the one, and yeah, it's just kind of fizzled out, hasn't it? I mean, I'm going to give my prediction for the lineup. I'm going full on strong. It's very similar to the team that played against West Ham, I'll be honest. And then obviously I'll ask what yours is that. And everybody in the chat, let me know what your lineup is, what your prediction is for tomorrow's game against Sociedad. So I've got De Gea in goal, obviously. Dalot, the monster at right back. I think Maguire will stay in. So Maguire, Martinez, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, Antony, if fit, I think will come back in. It says Erik ten Hag has said that he's hoping that he'll be on the plane to the game tomorrow. So hopefully he is fit. So Antony, Cristiano Ronaldo, and then Rashford is my front three. I think Rashford obviously deserves to start, and he's one of our main threats at the minute. Ronaldo's always got a goal in him, and Antony, I just hope he comes on and just shuts his haters up. To be honest with you, that's what I hope he does. But that's my prediction. Martial, I think I'll be on the bench, and maybe after 60 minutes, 70 minutes or so, depending on the game, is set Ronaldo off and bring Martial on. I think that's a change that we could make. But that's a lineup that I'm going to go for. Any differences for you, Nat?
You know what? So I know it's people might say it's cliche, but I do think we're going to go for the same. I feel like, maybe that's potentially why you had Elanga. Maybe if Antony was fit, give Elanga some minutes. But I feel like it'll be exactly the same lineup. I'm going to go the same 11. I feel like we might see a Garnacho and something bring on. I don't know.
If Antony's, I was going to say, if Antony's not, apparently Antony and Martial have stayed back at Carrington. I've read not long ago on the United website that Ten Hag said that he's hoping they'll be on the plane. They're going to go. I haven't seen any picture or anything yet, so I don't know. But if that is the case, then Garnacho, it could be Rashford, Ronaldo, Garnacho, and I'd still be happy with that, to be fair, from what we've seen. Sivan says De Gea, Dalot, Martinez, Maguire, Malacia to start, Casemiro, Eriksen, Garnacho, Bruno, Rashford, Ronaldo. So Garnacho obviously coming in instead of Antony in terms of my one, and Malacia instead of Shaw. I mean, what's your thoughts on Malacia now? I like him. Obviously, he's kind of lost his place at the minute, but Luke Shaw has been a monster, hasn't he, to be fair. Luke Shaw is finding his feet. He looks a lot trimmer. I'm not saying he was fat before. I'm not one of those people, but he looks a lot trimmer. He looks like he's definitely stacked up a little bit. And he looks a better player for it as well. His overlapping runs, some of his crosses that he's put in, some of his assists that he's got in recent games. The little skip he does before his crosses, I love that. It's going to be a good cross when he does that little skip beforehand. But yeah, Luke Shaw, I'm a fan of. I do hope it's not a case of, he's in amazing form, he's going to be good for England for the World Cup, and then he dips off again after. I hope he can keep up this form under Ten Hag. But I guess that's why he wants players. Like you said, on the right side, he wants another full-back to compete with Dalot. He likes that competition, and Malacia is more than capable of stepping in, isn't he? I wouldn't be concerned if Malacia started, but I do think it'll be Luke Shaw tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it'll be Luke Shaw, because I think then he'll bring Malacia maybe for the Sunday game versus Villa. For me, I feel like this is I'm not saying that Villa is going to be easy walkover, that kind of thing, but I just feel like this is the most important one out of the maybe the two. So I feel like we maybe see a bit more rotation for the other one and a bit stronger for this, and then maybe. If it goes the way that we want it, then you might see the change. I don't know. But yeah, I would just start the strongest that we can start. So, like what we said, similar to West Ham, and then either make the subs then, or, maybe the Sunday we'll see the rotation. That's what I think, because I feel like we know that we need to win this. I'm not saying that we can afford to drop points in the Premier League, of course not, but I just think this is sort of, I don't know. I think this is sort of a bigger game currently. If you had to look at the two, this is the bigger game. Get the 3 points. Get what you needed, so we can avoid, like you're saying, Juventus, but Bayern, Juventus, Barca, this and that. I mean, yeah, Barca haven't been that great, and I would fancy us, not fancy us fully, but I would embrace it if we did have to go and play one of those two teams. But you'd rather not. You'd rather just. Win the group and make it easier for yourself. But, I feel like the rotation will come maybe on a Sunday instead of this one. But I'm not the manager, so let's see what he does.
Thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you. He said, here's some homework, Sophie. Watch the downfall of Detroit Red Wings on NHL on YouTube and see if United make the perfect comparison to them. I will definitely check that out. The Detroit Red Wings of the NHL. I will do. I saw you ask earlier about ice hockey. I'm not a fan. So I'm not a fan. I don't watch it. I'd love to play it at some point, to be fair. And I like watching them having a brawl and stuff like that. But yeah, it's mad ice hockey. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it, but I will check that out for sure. And thank you again for that super chat. I appreciate it. Yes, Luke Shaw is looking close to his best again. I'm Blue said that we should calm down. He's had 2 good games. I don't think we're getting too overhyped with him, but we can't deny the fact that he has been outstanding.
Luke's always been a good player. Luke's always been a good player. No one's ever saying he's, and I feel like we're not hyping him. We're just saying he is at that form that we expect, and I think he plays better when he has that competition.
Definitely. And confidence is a big thing as well. Curlers is spot on. Obviously, it's Emery's first game for Villa, and you always feel that's a bit of a banana skin when that happens because of that new manager bounce. I mean, Villa have got some quality players, and if Emery can get them firing, which I'm sure he will, then yeah, they're going to be a tricky one. But again, like Nat says, like I'd back us to be fair against anybody on our day. It's just about us being focused and also not being too fatigued. So that's what I'm saying on the 60-minute mark. If we can afford to rotate, I'm sure Ten Hag will do. But yeah, I am looking forward to the game tomorrow. I wouldn't say I'm nervous because obviously I feel like either way, if we've got a playoff, I still back us. But it would be nice to get a few goals, regardless of who we're playing and the situation. I think seeing the way that we have been playing, having chances and not being putting them away, how nice would it be if it actually clicked tomorrow and we did put those chances away? Because I feel like that is coming. I do feel like that is coming for us, and I think it'd be a good confidence boost for us as well. So hopefully we can do that. But like I say, they're not going to be pushovers, regardless if they've got players out. They're still a quality outfit, and they're going to be a tough team for us to break down. I'm so glad Bruno's suspended for this weekend's game. I can't lie. Time for Donny to step into the team again. I'm not sure Donny will step straight into the. I don't know. I don't feel. When I hear Bruno's out, my first thought is put Ericsson forward in the 10 and then maybe put like another midfield. I don't know. Like I don't think it's guaranteed that Donny will come straight in. I would like to see it, by the way. I'm not disputing it. I'd love to see that. I would love Donny to get his chance, and maybe this could be his time. Who knows? But I'm not confident that he's just going to walk straight in. I'm not sure of that. But yeah, I hope that he can get some game time because I do like Donny and I feel like he's yet to prove really what he can do in a United shirt with injuries and whatnot as well. It hasn't really helped, has it? So hopefully he can prove his worth. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But Nat, what's your gut instinct score prediction for the game tomorrow? Do you think United can do it? Can we win by 2 clear goals? And obviously in the chat, let us know yours as well.
Yeah, I think definitely can do it. I mean, as soon as you said that, I thought 3-1 Man United. Before you even said the 2 goals, I thought 3-1 Man United. I think that would be a nice. I mean, we'd probably be upset about and I'd want them to be upset about the 1, I suppose. So maybe 3-0. But yeah, I feel like we can go and score 3 goals. Why not?
We can. We definitely can, and I hope we do. We'll see what other people are saying. 2-0 from Akervin, 3-1 there as well. We've got a 2-1 there. A lot of people agreeing with me that it'll be a case of someone else coming to the midfield and Ericsson maybe moving forward if it is, well, not if it is, Bruno is suspended. So, yeah, 3-0 to United. You know what, Nat? It's not very often that we both say the same score, but I think 3-1 was my instinct as well. I do feel like we'll probably concede. Probably just from switching off or maybe from a counter-attack or something like that. But I do hope going forwards that we do take our chances and we are clinical. And I would take that. I would take us conceding 1 as long as we've got that 2-goal difference. I would take it. It'll be a very tough match. It will be a tough match, 100%. And Alex says 2-0 there as well. And then Curtis has also said 3-1. With their injuries, he thinks it's there for the taking. And I hope we are right. Fred was amazing against Tottenham, to be fair. He covered every blade of grass, didn't he? Yeah. That's what I think will happen. I think it'd be Casemiro or Fred Ericsson. But what do I know? We'll see. Time will tell that one, I suppose. Time will tell. But now, before we do shoot off, I just want to ask you obviously about the ladies. I know they're playing Chelsea this weekend in a big game. If you just let people know so they can watch as well what time kick-off is in that. And also how you're feeling going into that one.
Yeah, so it's Sunday, so it's it's not straight away after, but obviously the boys are at 2, the girls are at 6:45. It's on Sky. There's still tickets if you're Manchester side and you want to get in. We're all standing behind the goal, so it's going to be a really good atmosphere because all 3 ends of the stadium are full. It's just those last few tickets. So, definitely if you can get down or buy a ticket, I would advise buying it before you come. So it's looking like it's going to be a sold out LSV. I think everyone's going to be behind the Reds. I think they need that. They need that energy to all be behind them. They're sitting top of the league. They had a really good performance at the weekend against Everton, winning 3-0. But if they could get something against Chelsea, who are current champions, I think it would just lay a marker down. I'm not saying we're going to win the league or anything, but, the girls are fighting for Champions League. They need to get it. I think we've spoken on air, haven't we? So if it's going to be crucial to the top players, Alessia, Antony, Mary, Honor, all these players that are like the best, up there as one of the best that we've watched during the Euros to smash it. When, European champions, we want them to be here for a long time. So, I think if we can lay some kind of marker down, get in, be clinical, get our goals, I'm more confident the men are going to win than the women, but who knows? I think we need to lay a marker down and show that we're able to compete with the best. So I think it's a perfect time on Sunday for the girls to do that.
Definitely. It should be an interesting one. I actually might be playing myself on Sunday, so I can't get there. Otherwise, I would be there. But yeah, I think Russo coming back, I think is good timing. Obviously, Toon, you already mentioned her as well. It's a shame about Honor, but in general, yeah, I think I'm not saying I'm super confident because obviously I know how good Chelsea are. Do you think the fact that Emma Hayes isn't going to be on the side is going to kind of bode well for us at the moment?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think like this is. I know they played City, but City have been a bit off. So I think this is potentially for them as well their biggest game so far. So, it's level on points. It's a big. We need to keep up our momentum. 5 games in a row we played, 5 clean sheets. So it's there. It's now. It's sort of. It feels like now or never. Not in that respect, but this is the best chance we've. And I always say this for the girls, but it's a good time for us. We're coming into it on a load of form. 5 wins, not conceding the goal, top of the league. If the confidence ain't high now, when is it ever going to be high? So we need to go into it believing and playing our best game. And I feel like, we've got great players. Maya and Sociedad doing great as well. So I feel like all these girls just got her England call up,
I know,
we've got the most ever England girls. So, it's not like anyone's bad player. They just need to be all on their game and ready for it. And, what will be, will be.
Definitely. It's a good time to showcase what they can do as well, obviously at the top level, as you've already mentioned. So yeah, it's going to be an intriguing game. I think that's probably the word, an intriguing one. And good evening to Ian. I hope you're doing well. And of course, let's get the win tomorrow. And the ladies are doing well. I've watched them a couple of times, says Ian, and they are doing well. There's been a few games, like the Leicester game in particular, where they didn't really perform, but as we mentioned with the men, they got the win, which is the most important thing. And obviously certain players coming back from injuries, I do feel it's good timing for United, especially with Chelsea coming up. But Nat, it's been an absolutely great show as always. It's been a blast. I can't believe that the time has flown by like it has. But thank you so much for joining me. Let people know where they can find you as well. They can give you a follow and check out some of your content, mate.
Yeah, so on Twitter, it's there in the corner, Natalie_17. Definitely check it out. Only One United Club. I do like little videos and vlogs. I'm still gonna do a video and vlog. It keeps going out of my head for Ladies in Red. So some little content coming soon there. But just check me out. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm always about.
Definitely do it. Always repping the women. I look forward to see some content from the weekend, obviously against Chelsea. Like you say, I'm sure that atmosphere is going to be buzzing. It'd be nice to get a feel for that for those who can't make it. But yeah, go and check out Nat. Amazing content on the women and of course the men as well. She knows her stuff, so please give her a follow. Hit a like on the video as well for my guests. Always appreciate that. And if you are new, please hit the sub on Ladies in Red. Give myself a follow, Soph with a kiss on the end of it on Instagram. On everything else, it's just Soph. And of course, if I've missed your comments, just drop a comment underneath afterwards, and I always double check there and I'll reply to you there. All that's left to say is have a nice evening, keep smiling, and come on United. Take care, guys. Look after yourselves. See you soon.